drive. Nah, no problem, bro. I promise. I got you. It's all good. It's all good here. Ah! I'm okay. Right. Hello, guys. Welcome to the channel. My name is Losering, and I want to show you what I'm planning on bringing into the upcoming Pantheon 2.0 as a hunter. Now, some of you may be wondering, who the hell are you, and why should we care about your opinion?
I'm not asking, I'm telling you. Now be a good boy and listen.
I am a 100% pure-blooded Aryan hunter. Look at my stats. Over 2,000 hours on hunter and only hunter. Yes, I have 2 hunters. Yes, I'm sick. Please send help. I have brought hunter into all my contest mode experiences and have completed all my low mans on hunter. Wow, loser, so much experience you must have. So many contest clears, you say, unknowingly and bitchless. Well about that. Either way, as someone extremely familiar with Hunter Toolkit and knowledge about build crafting, I wanted to make this video to counteract all the doom and gloom surrounding the Hunter changes. I liked almost all of the changes, and I think there's still plenty of viable Hunter options when it comes to damage. First off, I want to point out damage strats that were not affected with the final MOT patch notes. Still Hunt Celestial is still a great damage option, only relying on special ammo, which is still going to be fairly easy to come by. Sure, Lucky Pants has been taken out back and shot, but solo witness is still a clearable encounter because of the sniper. Hell, it's even clearable with Izzy and A99, so hunters can still have great burst DPS. I also recommend running this with the new crack shot aspect. Fortune's Favor was untouched as well, and still serves as a great survivability tool and increases damage by 15% when you have a Void Overshield. Now I know a lot of people are going to complain and say that Void Overshield gets stripped away too easily, and to that I'd say just run Specialist Armor. Not only will that increase your weapon damage, but it will ensure that you always have an Overshield available when you need it. With the changes to super gains and weapon buffs, I believe supers will become less important to damage in general, and weapons will see a front seat in most DPS strats, so having a low super stat won't hurt as much as it used to. Plus, if you're running Fortunes, I recommend you run Tether on Prismatic for the easy overshoot uptime with Faceted Purpose. Tether also being a 35% debuff makes it the strongest debuff in the game, which can still be appreciated in those shorter damage phases during the gauntlet. Mobius Quiver is another one that I still see as a strong contender come June 9th. The nerf to the super was only to the maximum buff granted to bows, and it's only dropping by 50%. That's still around 175% buff to crossbows, I think. I know math good. I think overall, this just makes it to where firing the last shot of the super will be more important to squeezing out the full potential of this exotic, like getting all the toothpaste out of the tube. Seriously, why do they do that? Just make it into a jar I can dip into. Now for new damage options that can and will be viable with this new update. Up first is Shards of Galanor. This is pretty obviously going to be the new hunter meta going forward. They've been buffed to be on equal footing with Thunder Crash, and based on the language, I'm going to assume this is without the knock 'em down aspect. Previously, you would also need to run Ember of Beams for consistency to ensure all of your knives landed, but this may not be necessary with the increased projectile speed and tracking. That's just apart from T-Crash is that you should be getting half your super back if you hit all your knives. Without hard numbers, there's no way to tell if this will still be the case after the patch, but getting back some super is better than getting back no super at all. As far as I'm aware, the nerf to ability energy is only cooldown based and not on energy gains. And as a tier 4 super, it already has a lower cooldown than Thunder Crash, so you should see more consistency than a tie-in on Curious. Next up might surprise you, cause I'm going with Frosties as a possible meta contender for damage. This one's gonna be more theory based as there's no telling how strong the buff is, but basically Frosties are going to be changed to be Fortune's Favor but blue. They give frost armor while sprinting, and stasis weapons have their damage increase. I imagine it will be a 10 to 15% boost if their original effect is still part of their kit. If they still give ability energy, 10% seems like a fair trade-off for the added survivability and regeneration, but if not, I'm hoping it's really on par with at least Fortune's Favor. Why I see this as a great option is because there are many great options for stasis weapon damage. Cold Comfort from Ghost of the Deep is an excellent option, and number 2 in rockets I would say overall. It has a great perk selection in Envious Assassin and Bait and Switch if you have the regular version, or if you manage to pick up one from Red of the 9, then you could also have an Envious Arsenal Beta Switch roll, which is even better. Cheer Inhibitor from Vesper's Host is also another possible option. This also comes with a great roll of Envious Arsenal and Bait and Switch. Both Rockets and GLs are receiving a 5% buff in Monuments of Triumph, and while that's not enough to put them anywhere near their peak strength, we need to look at the artifacts coming into this final update. Perks like Breach and Clear and Argent Ordnance are slated to make a return, which should bring damage strats up to par with modern Destiny power scaling. The reworks to the stasis harvest aspects and increased fragment slots to Shadow Dive and Winter Shroud makes Frost Armor one of the strongest and easiest DR sources to maintain in the game. You can pop your super and gain Frost Armor the entire duration of the super as it continuously freezes and shadows the target. Oh, did I mention that Frost Armor will also only now decay one stack at a time? Yeah, Stasis Hunter is teed up for some feasting for the rest of our miserable days on Destiny. Let's just hope that they balance it for Crucible. I cannot go through this again, please! So yeah, there are a few of the damage options that will be as part of the final sandbox potential. I see a lot of people being doom and gloom over the Lucky Pants nerf, and while I agree that they were hit way too hard, Hunter meta being relegated to Uncivil Discourse and a mostly uninteresting exotic was not something I would have found fulfilling myself. I'm glad that while Bungie closed the window, they opened a few doors in the process. Even if it was the window to the most beautiful view I have ever seen. After Edge of Fate, I never thought my class would reach its true potential. What I saw out that window was a glowing sky, a lush field of petals and grass that swayed with the wind, and clouds that wisp like monuments to an era of peace. And then they shit all over it!
Rap stay goofy and raw. Rap game goofy and law. Catchphrase doobies for all. Man, blaze strap name spooky and claw. Half baked parents claim dudes immature. You're perhaps saying you know where I clean. Stop blaming you